So this book is called Art of Man Making. Swami Chinmayananda ji, he was a great exponent on the Bhagavad Gita. So he went all over and he gave these short talks on the Bhagavad Gita based on the themes of the Bhagavad Gita. He gave this particularly to youth. And this was recorded on All India Radio. And if you read what the talks that he's given, it's very relevant today. So I thought that being 75 years of the Chinmay mission and being that Swami Chinmayanandaji was all about the Bhagavad Gita, that we too would learn the Bhagavad Gita. So here is going to be a book about essential verses of the Gita, and that's what we will do in the parent satsang. And every satsang, I'll let you know what to read in advance, and then I'll also refer to the book. So please make sure that this doesn't stay just in your shelf, but also do read it. Very, very beautifully written. Okay? So with that much background, we'll start with the opening prayer, and then we'll get right into the Gita. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam. Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. You can hear me well in the back? Yeah? Okay. So, first of all, before I even give the introduction of why Gita, what is Gita, I'm going to talk about why Gita. Before I tell you what is the Gita, I'm going to talk about why Gita, because we are in New York City and everybody wants to know what's in this for me. Why do I have to do this? Correct? This is the mentality of New York City. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to take this big book? Why do I have to sit in parent satsang? My kids are in Bhagavad class. I just want to go shopping or have a cup of coffee. Correct? Right? So why Gita? Let's start with that first. See, all of us are doing just one thing every day. Every day we're doing the same thing. What are we doing every day? We are looking for happiness. Some kind of happiness. We think we're looking for somebody to talk to, but actually we're looking for happiness. We think we're looking for a job promotion, but underneath that is happiness. We think we're looking to move into a new apartment. Underneath that is happiness. We think we want our children to do well in school. Why? Happiness. Underneath all of our daily desires is the desire to be happy. And in fact, that's the only desire we have. You might think I have 10 desires, 20 desires. Check again. The underlying desire of all desires is the desire to be happy. It's a desire to be fulfilled. And this desire to be happy is not, we don't want some temporary happiness. Some kind of happiness that will make me feel good for some time and then make me feel horrible again. You know? It's like if you take, some kind of medicine, it makes you feel good, but there's side effects. So we don't want the kind of happiness that has side effects. That's temporary. We're looking for something more permanent. We're looking for something more natural. We're looking for something more independent. Not something that depends on somebody. Not the happiness that depends on my children. If my children do well, then I'm going to be happy. Not the happiness that depends on my parents. If my parents' health is good, then I'm happy. A happiness that's permanent. A happiness that's natural. A happiness that's independent. That's what we're looking for. So, PIN. We're looking for permanent, independent, and something that's really natural. Not something that I have to work so hard for. And so many years of our life have been gone in putting forth effort to improve our standards of living. And science does that phenomenally. Now we have more comfort than ever before. Everything is in our fingertips. We don't have to do much. We don't even have to cook. You have Instapot. You just put it in there and it cooks itself. You don't even have to do, summarize all your meetings. You just go to ChatGPT and say summarize it and it's done. So there's not much we have to do. Anywhere we want to go, we just hop on a plane and we go. It's not like before where there were no planes. There was actually a time where people had to walk really to go far, to go on the boat. There were times where people had to handwrite letters. There were times where people could not talk to each other unless they went to an office to dial a call. Right? Now everything is in our fingertips. But even if everything is in our fingertips, and our lifestyle is, so to say, a little bit more advanced than before, don't we still have the same sense of sorrow? How come everything outside of us is improving, but inside it's actually getting worse? I'm sure you know about all the mental health issues that we're having, all the different types of diseases that are coming up. How come, if it's getting better outside, it's getting worse inside? How come even if I have more comforts, I have more resources, I have more of everything, I still feel less? It's because we are looking for the solutions outside instead of within. Our whole lives, we've been searching for happiness where? Outside. In a relationship, in a job, in a career, in family, in education. But why study the Gita is because it tells us, stop now. Not stop engaging with the world, by the way. The Bhagavad Gita says, engage with the world, do your dharma, but stop looking for fulfillment in the world. Stop it now. Because the world is not meant to fulfill you. No being, however beautiful, wonderful, loving they are, they're not meant to fulfill you. They're not meant to make you complete. That's not what they're designed for. Human beings are not designed to make other humans complete. Family is not designed to make you complete. Career is not designed to make you complete. They are all designed to purify and to help us evolve. So stop looking for fulfillment in that. You won't get it because they're not built that way. The world is not designed to complete you. It's designed to purify you. The world is designed to make us evolve, to make us grow. Sometimes we get hard slaps. Sometimes we get nice hugs. But that's just what the world has to do. So the Gita here is saying, stop it. Stop looking for fulfillment outside. It's not there. You try to turn within and seek it there. Seek your fulfillment inside you, because at the core of you, it's already there. You just have to open your eyes to it. So the Gita is a beautiful scripture that tells us how to live in the world and yet understand that our nature is beyond the world. How to live and do our dharma towards our family, towards society, but at the same time revel in Brahma, which is that ultimate reality. How to contribute to the nation's growth, at the same time have our peace of mind. How to be in relationships but at the same time be independent of them. This is the message of the Gita. And this is why of all the texts, of all the scriptures of Hinduism, this one is the most elastic. Swami Chinmayanandaji describes it as elastic. Because unlike the Upanishads, right, the essential message of our scriptures are given in the Upanishads. Our Upanishads were given in the mountains, in the forests, in very serene places. But where was the Gita given? In the battlefield. Huh? The Gita was given in the battlefield. Therefore, it is the scripture of today. Now you understood why the Gita? Yes? There's a little bit incentive. Now we'll talk about what is the Gita. And I will chant this verse. This is the first verse of the Gita Dhyanam. And through this verse, I'm going to unfold what exactly is the Gita. Okay? How many of you have studied the Gita before? Okay. How many have you have not? Okay. Very beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to chant this verse. Just listen to it. And then we'll slowly unlock each part of it. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. See, in Sanatana Dharma, before we study anything, there's the art of tuning into it. You know, like a musician, before they get into a concert, they have to tune the instruments. Right? You have to tune your voice. Or before going into anything, there's a prep required. So the tuning of any scripture is called the Dhyana Shloka. Dhyana Shloka is where we just tune into what the scripture is about. And this is the first verse of the Dhyana Shloka. It says, Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam. Another name for Arjuna is Partha. Do you know what Partha means? Parameshwara Artha. The one for whom God was his wealth. That's called Partha. Parameshwara Artha. Why was the Gita revealed to Arjuna? Why not Duryodhana? Duryodhana was in the clan of the Kauravas. So the Kauravas were in the team of Adharma, injustice, unrighteousness. The Pandavas were in the team of Dharma. Why was the Bhagavad Gita given to Arjuna? Because he chose Sri Krishna. That's why. I'm sure, how many of you know the story of how many of you know the story of Mahabharata? Okay, quite a bit. Do you remember the story when both Sri Krishna was lying down and Arjuna and Duryodhana went to see him? Do you remember that story? Very, very beautiful story. I'll just remind you of it. So the Pandavas were on the weaker side. In the sense, they had 7 Akshohinis. An Akshohini is like an army of over 1 million. That's an Akshohini. And not 200,000. Sorry, 1 Akshohini is over 200,000 things in your army. You have elephants, you have horsemen, you have soldiers on foot, all kinds of things. 200,000 of them is 1 Akshohini. And the Pandavas had 7 such Akshohinis, and the Kauravas had 11 Akshohinis. So Pandavas were on the weaker side. Now, both of them were related to Sri Krishna. And they went to Sri Krishna because they wanted his Akshohini. They wanted his support. But when they went to see Sri Krishna was sleeping. And Duryodhana was the first one to get there. Where did Duryodhana stand? He stood on the head of Sri Krishna. And where did Arjuna stand? He stood on the feet. And when Sri Krishna woke up, who's the first one he saw? Arjuna. So he said, I will support both of you. But I will ask Arjuna what he wants first. Because I saw him first. And Duryodhana said, no, I came first. But Sri Krishna said, Arjuna's the younger one. I will respond to him. And Sri Krishna asks Arjuna, what do you want? You're on the weaker side. Do you want my entire army, called the Narayana Sena, which is really, really strong? Or do you want me? And if you pick me, I'm not going to pick up a weapon. I'm not going to fight. Arjuna, without even thinking, said, I don't want your army. I want you. I want you. And that's how Sri Krishna came to Arjuna's side. And that's why Sri Krishna is called Partha Sarathi. Sarathi means the charioteer of Partha. And Sri Krishna became the charioteer. This is why the Gita was revealed to Arjuna. Because he chose Sri Krishna. And what does this mean? This also means that you and I might be listening to the Gita. And we might have been listening to it again and again and again and again. But nothing will get revealed to us until we become Partha. Until we become the one who values God as our wealth in life. See, right now, how do we value God? We use God to get to the world, isn't it? How many times we go to the temple? What are we going to the temple for? We're going to pray, oh Bhagavan, I came here, but please give me more wealth. Oh Bhagavan, I came here, but please let my son get to this college, or let my daughter get to this college. Please help them. Oh Bhagavan, please help my family business prosper. We are going to the temple and we are facing Bhagavan, but what are we seeking? The world. That's not Partha. So for somebody who's going to the temple, who's praying but still seeking the world, we might study Bhagavad Gita again and again. But guess what? Nothing will be revealed to us. Because we have not become Partha. When we become Partha and we start to understand that Bhagavan is the wealth of my life, you will be surprised that everything is a revelation. Every single thing is a revelation. So, Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam. This was revealed to Partha. And what kind of knowledge was this? Now, there are two types of knowledge. One is called Aparavidya and one is called Paravidya. Aparavidya means lower knowledge. Paravidya means higher knowledge. Lower knowledge means what? Knowledge that will keep changing. Knowledge that will keep changing. Like somebody who studied medicine before, they cannot apply that same knowledge now. Because the field of medicine has completely changed. Somebody who studied engineering before, how many of you studied engineering before? Now, how many of you have to relearn few things? Because that knowledge completely changed, right? So all the things that we study in school or in college is called Aparavidya. Means guess what? You're learning it now, but in a couple of years it will change. And now everybody's so fascinated with AI. Guess what? In a couple of years that will also change. So all knowledge which changes belongs to Aparavidya. Knowledge that does not change is Paravidya, higher knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita and our Upanishads, it contains knowledge that does not change, will not change. Because it's knowledge about the self. It's knowledge about who we truly are. This will never change. What does that mean? It means Bhagavad Gita will never go out of style. Huh? If you go to Barnes and Nobles, every week they'll have new bestsellers. These are the top 10 bestsellers. And this cooking like this, and Ayurveda, and this and that, and almond milk is good for you, and oat milk is good for you. All these things will be there. And then you go the next week, and the next week, and again, different sets of books will be there. And some books will be outdated also. But the Bhagavad Gita will never be outdated. It will never be outdated. You will never have to throw it away. You will never have to give it up because it's true. It was true thousands of years ago and it's true now. So this is called higher knowledge. Knowledge that does not change. Lower knowledge will only remove the symptoms. Will only remove the symptoms. Higher knowledge will remove the very cause. What are we experiencing now? Some kind of sorrow, anxiety, mental anguish, dejection. So we'll look up also in the internet, how to relax. That's the funniest thing. How to relax means relax, you cannot explain it. You just do it. You're tensed about how to relax. So these are the kinds of books that are there. How to find peace. Then you get stressed that I'm not finding peace. That's not the point. All these books are just dealing with all these symptomatic things, giving us band-aid, band-aid solutions. I do a little bit of pranayama, do some yoga asanas, which are all good. Have a healthy diet, exercise, go on a vacation, all good. But these are only removing symptoms. After that, I'll still feel the pain again. Bhagavad Gita removes the cause. How to remove sorrow for good. How to remove anxiety for good. How to remove stress for good. That for good comes in paravidya, comes in higher knowledge. It's not going to come in lower knowledge. It can be as exciting, as repackaged as you want. There's this new therapist, there's this new gig, there's this new program, there's this new diet. You repackage it in however way you want. It'll go out of style. It will stop working at some point in time. Again, you'll start to find something new. So higher knowledge removes the very cause of sorrow. Lower knowledge is through individuals. So who's writing all of these books and everything like that? All individuals. When any individual writes something, there's a limitation because we are limited. So sometimes we will focus on our likes and dislikes. If there's something that we like more, we'll write more about it. If it's something that we dislike, we won't write about it. Sometimes as human beings, we twist things. If we have an agenda, all news is like this. You twist it because you have an agenda, right? So we don't know what is news because everything is twisted. Whenever a human being writes anything, there will be defects. There will be the defects of likes and dislikes. There will be the defects of I have an agenda. There will be the defects of I only know this much. I can only see this far. So everything that we're reading that's written by an individual has these defects. It has it. Whether we like it or not. And that's why we cannot tell what's true. But when we talk about higher knowledge, that knowledge is not written by any individual. It's the words of Bhagavan. Narayanena Swayam. It's the words of Bhagavan himself. So this is not ordinary. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book. It's the words of God. And I always tell, we have a youth group who's studying Bhagavad Gita, and our teens also study Bhagavad Gita, and I always tell them, if any time you have a problem, you have an issue, just open a verse of the Bhagavad Gita and let that speak to you. Because it's the words of Bhagavan, it's divine words, it's not ordinary. Many times we feel like, I want to have a conversation with God. What would He say? Open the Gita. And that's your message for the day. In fact, in the Gita Mahatmyam, it says that there's these verses written to glorify the Gita. In the Gita Mahatmyam, it says that so many people like to go on pilgrimage, right? Pilgrimage sites. You want to go to Ayodhya, to Varanasi, to Prayagraj, all these different places. But when you have the Bhagavad Gita in your home, it becomes a pilgrim place. It becomes a Tirtha Kshetra. When you have the Gita in your home is a Tirtha Kshetra. You need not go into any pilgrimage site. Because this is like taking a dip in the pilgrimage. So this is not ordinary. Don't take this as ordinary words and some other book that we have to study. It's the words of Bhagavan. Narayanena Swayam. Who wrote this together? Who wrote this? Did Bhagavan write it? It's the words of Bhagavan. Did Bhagavan write it? Vyasa. It was sage Vyasa, Bhagavan Veda Vyasa, who composed it. So please think, when Sri Krishna was in the battlefield, it's not like he spoke in rhyme. He didn't say like karman yeva adhikaraste. He didn't speak in rhyme like that, right? He spoke his heart out to Arjuna. And the one who put it in verse form, that person is called Bhagavan Veda Vyasa. Bhagavan Veda Vyasa Ji. So, Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam. These were the words composed by Vyasa. Vyasa is not an ordinary being. Vyasa is a sage. And when there's a sage like Vyasa, that sage is as good as Bhagavan himself. All of our Hindu scriptures, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, these are prime Hindu scriptures. Veda Vyasa Ji had a hand in it. He collated and collected all of the Vedas and made sure they were put in written form so that we have access to it today. He wrote the Mahabharata, he wrote the Bhagavad Gita, he wrote the Puranas, and even the Brahma Sutras. Sutras are just aphorisms, short aphorisms about any conflict, any seeming conflict in our scriptures. He wrote aphorisms. He wrote these aphorisms to also outline the theme of all of our scriptures. This was Bhagavan Veda Vyasa. So whenever we study the Bhagavad Gita, we always remember him. We always just take a moment to think about him, because without him, we wouldn't be here today. How many of you still write with a pen? Did you ever imagine that people would stop writing with a pen and then just be texting and typing on the computer? Did you ever imagine that a day like that would come? In Veda Vyasa's time, everything was passed on through oration. People had great memory, superb memory. So the Vedas were recited. Nobody wrote anything down. Veda Vyasa came and said, listen, people are going to start to forget. Let's put everything in writing. Let's put everything in writing. Because he had such a visionary thought, all of this was preserved. Understand, if Veda Vyasa didn't have that thought, let's put this in writing, let's preserve this, our scriptures would have been lost. Because nobody would have been able to memorize it. So it is Bhagavan Veda Vyasa Ji, it's because of his grace that we have these words, these divine words with us today. Vyasena Gratitam Puranamuna. Where was this Bhagavad Gita given? as I mentioned to you earlier, in a battlefield. Madhye Mahabharatam. Huh? So this was not given in some forest, in some Gurukula. Right? It was not given to some saint. Arjuna was grahastha, he was married, he was a warrior. Huh? Madhye Mahabharatam. In the very battlefield of war, this scripture is given. That tells us that it's applicable to all of us. See, there are 4 yugas. Huh? In Satya Yuga is the purest time, purest era. In Satya Yuga, the battle was between the Devatas and the Asuras, meaning the gods and the demons. The battle was between them. Then you come to Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga is the next Yuga. The battle was between 2 kingdoms. Treta Yuga was the Yuga of Rama. So the battle was Ayodhya and Lanka. Like that. You can see 2 different kingdoms. We come to Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar Yuga is when Mahabharata happened. Right? And the battle was between the family. In the family itself, there was the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And now we're in Kali Yuga. Where's the battle? Inside of us. Right? Battle is inside. So we're having the battle here. Huh? Forget about everybody else. There's already a battle with everybody else. But in addition to that, we have a battle here. So one side of me is saying you should do this. The other side of me is saying I shouldn't do this. I'm confused every day. I don't know what to do. For that battle, this is a scripture. And everyone has that battle. Everyone has it. Madhye Mahabharata. This is that kind of scripture. Now, what does the scripture give? What is the essence of the scripture? Advaita Mrita Varshini. The message of the scripture is Advaita, is oneness. It's oneness. Advaita, oneness. Amrita, immortal oneness. Varshinim, showers of immortal oneness. It is this scripture that tells us how we are one. So many people will say, we are all one, everybody's the same, and when we do Namaste or Hari Om, we are all one. But how are we one? How exactly are we one? This is a scripture that tells you how you and I are actually one. How you and I are actually one. Not imaginatively one, we are actually one. And how when we realize our oneness with all beings, how we live life. We live life with such values of truthfulness, with respect, with love. So the Bhagavad Gita gives this message of oneness, of non-duality, of the deep understanding that underneath all of these layers, you and I are one. Underneath all the different ornaments of gold, gold bracelet, gold ring, gold necklace, there's just gold. And when you and I pay attention to the oneness in all of us, instead of all of this multiplicity, that's when we really connect. That's when we really live life. When we start to connect to the deeper meanings, the deeper layers of people. Not just what they look like. Not that, oh, this person wore the same thing again last week. Or this person is like this, or this person is like that. Connect to the deeper layers of every being. Advaita Amrita Varshini Bhagavati. And this Bhagavad Gita has how many chapters? 18 chapters. Why 18? 18 days of the war. 18 Puranas. But this 18 has a very beautiful and brilliant meaning. The first 6 chapters talk about Karma Yoga. The next 6 talk about Bhakti Yoga. And the final 6 talk about Jnana Yoga. So all the 3 yogas can be found in the Bhagavad Gita. The crux of all the Upanishads is known as a Mahavakya, a statement that reveals our infinitude. The Mahavakya, one of the Mahavakyas is Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. You are that. The first 6 chapters focuses on Tvam, on thou, on you. The next 6 chapters focuses on Tat, on that divinity. And the last 6 focuses on the oneness of the two, Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. The number 18 also tells us that we are composed of 8 things: space, air, fire, water, earth, the mind, the intellect, ego. This is what we're composed. All of us are composed of these things: space, air, fire, water, earth, the mind, intellect, ego. These are 8 things known as Ashtada Prakriti. When we disidentify with this 8 and we realize who we are, that is 108 or 18. So that 18 is to tell us that this whole text is going to get us to disidentify from this 8 and realize that we are only that one reality. Ashta Dasha Adhyayini. And who is the Gita after all? The Gita is not a book. She is our mother. We call her Amba. Very beautifully, Madhusudana Saraswati ji has called the Gita Amba. Amba, she is a mother. Why is she a mother? Because, as I said to you, at any time you want advice, you want to know what to do, open up the Gita and she will give you exactly what's fit for you. We call her Amba. She's a mother because just like a mother caters to all the children. You know, one child wants Indian food, the other child wants pasta, the other child wants something else. The mother knows what to do to cater to all children. She caters to all seekers, whether the seeker is new, whether the seeker is advanced, or even to somebody who has realized the truth. She caters to all of them. She's just like a mother. And with every chapter, she takes us into her embrace. Amba Tvam Anusandadami. Anusandadami means, oh mother, let me contemplate on you. Let me stop contemplating on the world. Let me stop contemplating on all these outside things. May I contemplate on you because you are my mother. For all of us Hindus, our mother is the Bhagavad Gita. You are our mother. Let us start contemplating on you. Let us start serving you. Let us start understanding you. And when we do that, Bhavadveshinim, she removes all of our samsara. She removes all of our sorrow for good. That's her promise. This is the Gita. So what is the Gita? That beloved scripture that has been given to Arjuna. Why Arjuna? Because he chose Bhagwan. And it was revealed to him. And this scripture is not ordinary. It's not about lower knowledge, higher knowledge. It's about how to remove sorrow for good. It is changeless. And it's the words of Bhagwan himself. Who composed this? Vyasa. Hearing Bhagwan's scriptures, Vyasa put it into a composition of verses. Where did it take place? In the Mahabharata. And what is the message of the Gita? The core message, Advaita, oneness. How to realize our oneness with all beings. How many chapters? 18 chapters, about 700 verses. And 18 is laid out so that we get the whole complete vision of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Very, very practical. And who is the Gita after all? She's our mother. She's not any ordinary. When the Gita has come into your hand and the Gita has come into your home, that's a mother coming to you. When we contemplate on her, then she gives us, she reveals to us that knowledge which removes our sorrow for good. This is Gita, right? So today I thought I'll just give you an introduction of why study Gita and what is Gita. And next week we will start to get into the Gita itself. So when you go home, I want you to read through at least the first 6 chapters. And they're short, they're not long. Read through the first 6, and then we will start to get into the Gita per se next week.